Said this before, but I'm going to say it again. This shutdown is not about government funding politics. This is about spiritual symbolism playing out in real time. If you've been paying attention, and remember, by me saying that, I'm not saying to absorb, I'm saying to observe. If you've been paying attention, then you know this frequency lines up with the last president frequency. Hey, what you talking about? TikTok, I'm about to hypothetically speak, okay? This is not real. This is not really happening. This is just a story that I made up in my mind. I want y'all to put it in perspective like this. Every story has a disruptor. That person that comes and shakes the table or flips the goddamn board over. Now, in tarot, that is the Tower card, which represents what? Chaos. Also exposure and destruction of illusions. That's the energy we've been living in since the last, let me say, selection. It's the system shaking from the inside out. Like I told y'all in the last video, it's the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. The system is crumbling. Now, when I talked about the last president, I am speaking about that book that came out. Not familiar? Go ahead and look it up and then come back to this video. When people read that book, I believe they were reading it literally, much like they do when they read the Bible. Energetically, what they're saying in that book is very symbolic. What it really means, it's the last of an era or the last of a certain structure of power that we are used to seeing. It's the end of an illusion where we believed that the power only sat in the hands of a few. Something about this presidency, no matter who's sitting there, right? It carries a final form type of energy. Old ways of running a nation with certain figureheads or illusions, shadow handlers, or the scripted performances. That's the structure that I'm talking about that's crumbling. And just like the tower, it has to crumble before you can rebuild, right? When the government shuts down, it's not just offices closing. It is pretty much signifying the energetic shift. Also, an energetic pause is making everybody pause for a minute. The universe is saying this system, this raggedy ass system that y'all had going for years cannot sustain itself no more. Shutdowns are symbolic of a recalibration or a forced reset. What's really crazy though is every time we see one, we see massive change, and I'm about to prove it to you. Now, the 2018-2019 was the longest shutdown, I believe, in history. Ended right before what? Major structural changes with immigration. But let me not forget surveillance tech and digital economy policies. Even a few months later, global trade deals was taking place and major funding redirections appeared. Every single time there's a shutdown, something big is playing out in the background. See, this one is not different, but a little different only because the shift is global. Symbolically, the shutdowns last as long as the illusions does. So in the physical sense, maybe a few weeks. But from a spiritual aspect, this is going to take as long as humanity takes to realize the system itself is not working anymore. Like I asked before, y'all not tired of somebody governing your mental? See, this one might linger a little bit longer. I'm thinking between like 30 to 60 days-ish. Because people waking up. People starting to really realize this shit. This pause is prepping the stage for new forms of control. And I'm talking about digital, economic, financial, all of that. All I'm saying is keep y'all heads on a swivel for them laws that's temporary but suddenly become permanent. They gonna introduce that new currency, you know, that new law system, order systems, digital tracking. Oh, my bad, let me say it like this. Digital tracking for your safety. But regardless, none of this is random. Just know it's realignment. While everybody is panicking, just notice what they do. They feed you the villains and they feed you the heroes. One to hate, one to worship. That's the duality trap. Keeps you choosing sides instead of seeing the actual game board. The question isn't who the last president is. The question is what comes after this particular frequency? What comes after this presidency? Honestly, that's where you're going to see the real change for real. Watching a transfer of power from politics to technology. Yeah, that's the age that we in. This is why I just made a video saying y'all can save your breath with ban AI. It ain't going nowhere. We going from leadership to algorithms. From illusion to coded control now. That's why the energy feels so heavy right now, because we literally watching an empire dissolve right in front of our faces. So like I've been saying, just get ready for that new digital dollar. It's coming. We're gonna also have a new credit structure probably arising to structure the economy. Oh, we're gonna also see a heightened security rhetoric. As I said in my last video talking about AI, they're not fearful of AI gaining too much control. They're fearful because we rising too fast. The control on us is slipping. There'll be a ton of protection laws and a lot more lockdowns when it comes to speech. But what they don't realize is you cannot stop the rise. I can put whatever you want to in place. It's not going to work. It's going to be a lot more key players coming down the pipeline that's being exposed. Just remember, this is only going to be to shift the attention off of something else. As I've stated, the great split has already happened. So there's a world where people living in chaos and fear, and other ones are rising, using their discernment. It's observing, not absorbing. The ones that are rising, keep doing so. Because we don't see this as a collapse. We just look at this as construction. This is the birth of a new frequency of power. Thank you to everybody out there that's always giving me words of encouragement, lifting me up, telling me you love my content. I appreciate y'all very much. After years of everybody asking me, when you gonna get on YouTube? When you gonna get on YouTube? I'm finally on YouTube, y'all. That once I get to 10,000 followers, then I will start making long form content for YouTube. I'm almost there, so get me there and I got y'all. Gonna go all in. As always, peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.